जो भी चाहो
नाच मेरी जान फटाफट
नीले नीले अंबर पर चांद जब आए।
Film songs are a part and parcel of everyday life in India. However, it has completely changed in recent years. In the last episode, we saw the rise of playback singing in the 1950s, the golden era of Indian cinema. In this episode, we will explore the music of the 1960s. The 1960s took the legacy of Hindi film music of the 50s. The nation was gripped by the music created in the 60s. Actors such as Shammi Kapoor, Asha Parekh, Devanand, Vaijayanti Mala and Helen were setting the screen on fire. While on the one hand, the audience was receiving dance numbers such as Chahe Koi Mujhe Jangli Kahe and Monica Oh My Darling, on the other hand, they were romancing on the soft numbers of Lata Mangeshkar. While the 50s were heavily influenced by Indian classical and semi-classical, the 60s saw a major shift in trend. Music directors were introducing Western music such as jazz, rock and roll and disco. This was also a time when English bands such as Beatles and the Rolling Stones were leaving a mark on music lovers that lasts even today. Who can forget songs like I Wanna Hold Your Hands and Love Me Do by the Beatles and Satisfaction and Jumping Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones? Artists like Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix and Elvis were beginning to make their presence felt in the international music scene. Music directors such as R.D. Burman and Bappi Lahiri were influenced by the giants of the West. An article published on iPasio mentions the following. The orchestra-style instrumental ensemble that included guitar, harmonica, trumpets and saxophones made their entries into the recording studios. Music composers and directors such as Shankar Jaikishan and Lakshmikant Pyarelal crafted some of the most melodious tunes that are appreciated even today. The following 3 decades, the 60s, 70s and the 80s, experienced the pinnacle of creativity, talent and musical prowess among vocalists, composers and instrumental music players. The trend moved from melodies to jazz and rock and roll to disco beats. The 60s was an era when Bollywood was marked by soulful melodies. Be it Asha Bhosle or Lata Mangeshkar, playback singers and music directors relied more on slow-tempo melodious music. An article published on the Entertainment Experts column mentions the following. Soulful melodies were an essential ingredient in songs of the 60s and 70s. Although Hindi films in these hippie-happy decades had both slow songs and fast-tempo songs, it was slow songs that became hugely popular with moviegoers. While romantic songs of the 60s and 70s are immensely popular in India and other subcontinent nations, it is sad songs of these decades that have become cult favorites. How did you find this information? Please mention this in the comments section. We would also like to know the kind of content you want to watch and we will try to create it for you. For more news and updates, follow Airr News.